Hey guys, welcome to the tutorial. We're going to be working with iBeacons today, in particular the Estimote brand, and we're going to be using the Estimote SDK. So open your Xcode 6 and open a single view application. I named it iBeacons YouTube, and we have a iPhone 5 simulator running, and all that we have hooked up is a label that displays the beacon range, and the ranges vary from immediate, near, and far. And whether it's immediate, near, or far, it could trigger your app to do different things, such as sending you to a web page or displaying a coupon. It's really up to you as the programmer to decide what to do. So to get started, we're gonna. I hope you guys are all familiar with CocoaPods. So we're gonna vim our pod file, and as you can see, I've done that so far. So our platform is iOS, and the target is 7.0, and our pod is Estimote SDK. If you guys can see that. So we're going to write and quit, and we're going to install our pod. And when you do so, you're going to close down your Xcode project and open XC Workspace as we have done here. And when we open it up, we're going to head over to our build phases, and we need to add a couple frameworks. So go to link binary with libraries, and we're going to use our core location. Frameworks. And we're also going to be needing our core Bluetooth frameworks. Make sure you add both of them. Now, what's new in iOS 8 is you need to request permission from the user to send local notifications. Now, this was done before, but right now it's done in a similar manner. So you need to go to your app delegate and did finish launching with options. We're going to add our local notifications in my code snippets. You guys should go ahead and add that to your code snippets as well if you don't have it. So what this does is have a pop-up to the user, and the user either says yes, allow, or no, do not allow. Next, we need, with the update to Estimote SDK and iOS 8, you need to request permission to use the location services in the background. There's two methods. One is when in use, and the other one is always in use. Now, that's up for you to determine. The app we're going to make supports monitoring and ranging, so I want it to always monitor. That way, when we enter and exit a region, it acts accordingly. So go to your supporting files and go to your info.plist. Right-click your info.plist and open as source code, and what you're going to see is a bunch of keys in a dictionary. So go down to the bottom of the array, and right before the dictionary ends, you want to add your keys. And the key is NS location always usage description. And this description is what the user is going to see and decide whether to allow your app to use it or not to use it. So try and be specific so the user knows exactly why you want to listen for it. It is low energy, but not everybody is aware, so make sure they know that we need these options. Next, we're going to go to the view controller.m file, and we're going to import the frameworks we just added. So we're going to import our core location and core Bluetooth. And also now, with our Estimote SDK, we want to include the Estimote Beacon Manager. And now, we need to make it a delegate protocol. So add your delegates. Next, we are going to be declaring some properties. And these properties, the three properties, are going to be the Estimote Beacon, the Estimote Beacon Manager, and the Estimote Beacon Region. And these are all important to your particular app because your beacon region is what lets users with your app monitor your beacons versus another store's beacons. And the Beacon Manager is what collects the beacon information and delegates what it does when it happens. So now we're going to go down to our view did load, and we're going to create our UUID. And each one of your iBeacons is going to have your UUID. And if you're using particular of the Estimote brand, you can go to your Estimote app, log into where your beacons are, and see your UUID along with your major and your minor. And we're going to be needing all three of them. But for now, we're going to be creating our NSUUID. We're going to name it UUID. We need to lock it and then instantiate it with a string, and this is going to be particular to your UUID. Yours may be different than mine. I'm not sure if all the Estimote brands are the same, but make sure yours matches here. Next, we're going to set up the beacon manager. And we're going to set self.beacon manager. We're going to instantiate it. Then we're going to set it as a delegate. Next, we're going to set up the beacon region. Like I said, this is important for our particular app, so our app knows which beacons to monitor. So we're going to self.beacon region. And now we're going to have a custom unlock. And our init with proximity UUID, and that is the UUID we just made. And now your major and your minor are going to be different than mine, so make sure you put your particular instances. Then when we get to identifier, we're going to put region identifier. Now this is for when you have more than one region, you can call it through identifiers. That's in a different tutorial. So next we need to tell the system to let us know when we exit and enter a region. And to do that, we use our beacon region. So self.beacon region .notify on entry, and it takes a Boolean value. And we do the same thing for exiting. Next, we need to tell the beacon manager needs to tell the system to start monitoring. And monitoring is what makes notifications for entering and exit a region. Ranging is for when you're inside the region. And we need to start the ranging. Start ranging for beacons. Self.beacon region. Finally, this is a must-have for iOS 8. And this is when you request the user. So our beacon manager is going to ask the user, hey, can you authorize us to listen for stuff in the background? So request always authorization, and that's what we have our keys for, always. Next, we're going to check for failures. So when we initiate our beacon region and it doesn't unlock correctly or it's nil, there's no way for us to tell in the app won't crash, we just won't receive any information from the beacon. So let's make sure we have a failsafe, and we check for region failure and the authorization status, whether the user didn't click yes or no, whether the user clicked yes or the user clicked no. So let's start. Let's check for region failure, and to do that, we ask our beacon manager, did the monitoring fail for our region, and what error? And here we will log our error. Next, we're going to check our permission status. 3 means yes, 2 means no, 0 means they didn't answer. So there we go. And that's all it takes. So you could boot up in your simulator. New splash screens for Xcode 6. And you could see that, do we want to allow the monitoring? Yes. Do we want to receive push notifications? Yes. So as you can see, we did fail. We're not done implementing the rest of our methods. So we need to ask the beacon manager, did we enter the region? Here we go, beacon manager, did enter region, and then when we do, we're adding a custom local notification to be presented. And you've done it. Along with the default MP3, you don't even need that, but you could change the sound if you like. And also, did we exit the region? And if you exited the region, will you also want a notification? And instead of the same notification, let's put you've exited. Not very clever, but at least we'll know which is what. So now that should be it for our beacons, for our ranging, or for our boot up using a reflector and my phone so you could see the actual status and the beacon notifications. And as we boot up, you're going to see the beacons status. 3 means we are good to go. There is a beacon region and we did agree to it. So we're going to bring the beacon into the room and we're going to shut off the phone. And there you go. You've done it. We completed step 1. So now on to ranging. And the label we created is going to return the proximity of the beacon that we are monitoring. So it's going to return immediate, near, far, or unknown. And to get this started, it's just 2 simple quick methods. The first method is beacon manager, did range beacons in region. And this says if the beacon count is above 0, the first beacon we encounter, we're going to tell the label its proximity. And to get the proximity, it's just a simple switch. So we're going to return a string for proximity. And the switch states that if it's far, we're going to return far. If it's near, we're actually going to return near and change the color of the label to purple. Immediate, we're going to return immediate and change the color to red. And here we go. As you see, build succeeded. And we have an immediate range. And we can move it over a little bit to get a near range. And you can see it's purple. And you can use some logic to change whatever you like. So the first beacon can never equal the last beacon. So you can keep moving and flow. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at PhillyDev716. So